Hello, I'm attorney Lewis Haskell, and today is April 17, 2026, and I am pleased to report that I'm already starting to feel more or less like a normal human being, notwithstanding what was a particularly brutal end of tax season. In this last week of tax season, we e-filed roughly 200 federal returns, or extensions for businesses who are not really quite ready to file, but were able to determine roughly how much they're going to owe so that they could pay their tax by the April 15 deadline. Uh, that's kind of rough for 1 week. And by the end of it, especially, after working 7-day weeks for close to 3 months. So I really was exhausted at the end of it all. But I'm happy to be getting my legs back under me again. I did, however, want to give one special shout out to a very important member of my staff whose work this tax season was Herculean. And that is my daughter, Isabella. Isabella has been doing taxes since she was 14 years old. She's always been kind of a force behind the scenes during tax season. Well, maybe not when she was 14, but for the last, let's say 5 to 10 years. I love to telling clients that she actually does my taxes so that they understand how important that she has been. But she really had turned a corner this year, more in terms of attitude than competence, because she's always been competent. Uh, she changed her major this year. She's going to be a CPA. She's kind of always been my heir apparent, but uh, I don't know that she's always been enthusiastically my heir apparent for folks who have children. I think you understand what I'm talking about. But she's now enthusiastically my heir apparent for the tax business, and frankly, acting like it. She was here till midnight or beyond uh, every night this past week. In fact, she was here till uh, after 2 in the morning on on the night of April 14th to 15th, getting things ready. She reviewed pretty much every single tax return before I saw it, and took care of not just the idea of double checking and making sure there aren't typos and things like that, which are always a problem uh, in any kind of tax preparation uh, organization. I mean, in other words, there's a lot of data entry, and people are human. People make mistakes, and the question is, what procedures do you have in place to prevent them? And ours has always been one person enters the data. My daughter then reviews it, and then it comes to me, and I review it with the client. And I spend a lot of time with clients going over every line item, just to make sure everything looks right. She's approached that function with a lot more enthusiasm this year. She's approached just the whole idea of taking on the complex issues in the tax returns with much more enthusiasm this year. And that's important because taxes are important. And, you know, we do not provide a commodity service here. Our job here is not simply to fill out forms and bring clients into quote unquote compliance with their tax obligations. We try to be a lot more than that. And that only works if you have enthusiasm for it. It's very easy just to say, look, we're going to mail 200 tax returns in a week, and that's what we're going to do. Frankly, if that's all we did, I don't think I would have been particularly tired. Simply having people enter data, telling the client, here's how much you're getting, here's how much you owe, here's how much you owe me, and e-filing the thing actually wouldn't be that hard at all. I wouldn't even have to do it. But we do so much more than that. And so I'm really excited to see my daughter approaching this with so much enthusiasm, um, because that means to me that that whenever my wife allows me to leave this, no, and truth be told, I'm still having fun. As tiring as it was, as exhausting as it was, I'm actually still having fun. But but I've been joking with people that this allows my wife to break my shackle. Um, and let me go free, but and not have to work all the time. But it's heartening to me to know that um, this part of the practice will be left in very good hands. Um, I'm reminded of when I started doing taxes, when we had a tenant in the basement, fellow Tom, who's well known among people who would know. He came to me in mid-January. He couldn't come in mid-October. He came mid-January. And, he said, Lewis, I can't do this anymore. I really want you to take this over. And he was really quite insistent that I would be the one to take it over. And there were people who offered him a lot of money to take over his business because, frankly, it was a very profitable business. And I can understand why people were offering him a lot of money. And I turned him down. I even won it, yet alone to pay for it. Um, he wasn't concerned. He wasn't the least bit concerned about the money, which is a good thing because if he was, I wouldn't have gotten it. And actually, when I turned him down, he was very emphatic and very persistent that he wanted me to take it over. And the reason that he gave was that, he's been doing taxes for these people, in some cases for decades, that these are not simply customers, or since I'm a professional, clients, but these are friends. These are people you care about. And and that's true. And this has been an issue that I've been concerned about on the law side, and I'm very pleased that I have very good people on the law side of the law office of Lewis S. Haskell, who I'm going to feel comfortable when the time comes. Because, I'm not a young man. Um, but when the time comes, turning my clients over to, and, I don't know that I'll ever be truly, fully, 100% out of it, retired, gone. Um, but it's good to know that I can be not here so much and have other people who've taken it over and lifted up the torch of the law office of Lewis S. Haskell, and will be able to carry it proudly, even though they may change the name to add their own. but but I'm very pleased, very proud that on the tax side we have the same situation, because yes, my tax clients are not simply people I provide a service to, but these are people who I care about, who I worry about, and I want to know that when the time comes, that they will be in good hands, because I'm a lot older than many of my clients. Um, I'm older than the vast majority of my clients, but a lot older than many of my clients, and I'm not going to be their last tax preparer. And that's just a fact of life. And I'm thrilled to know that they're going to be in very good hands, um, with someone who's starting to share my enthusiasm for this, um, who enjoys doing this and enjoys going above and beyond. I've left out that she also started actually meeting with clients this year. And that was a very good experience, both for her and for the clients. In some cases, I sat in to watch. In others, I just let her fly solo. And and the clients all had positive things to say. All seemed very happy. In fact, kind of a little hurt that they didn't seem to miss me at all. That they thought that she had basically, you know, been studying been studying under my tutelage, right, for all these years, and frankly, um, was as good as me. So, that's something every father should be proud of. and I am, and I just wanted to say so. So for anybody who's worried about the fact that they may be a little bit younger than me and worried about what happens when I ride off into the sunset, um, just rest assured that number one, that time is not now. I will be back next year. And number two, that you will be in excellent hands. Someone who I'm very proud of and very confident in, and know will do an excellent job, even if I'm not here at all. Thank you.